Hi, Sukhvir. How are you?
Hi, Mitten. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Just
Good,
getting to
good.
my steps.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So we're gonna start in just few minutes. We'll just wait for others to join. Yeah,
Awesome.
perfect. I'll put everybody on mute in the beginning. In the meantime, and I'll open it up for everyone at the later stage when we have Q&A. All
Okay,
right,
cool.
perfect. All
Oh,
right.
got one
Thanks for
question. Is this
joining.
going to be recorded? Because I'm
Y-
cooking
Yeah,
food
yeah, yeah,
downstairs.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's gonna be recorded and it will be live streamed on YouTube as well. So that's no problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Lovely. I'll have to run downstairs and cook the rest of my meal. Just
All right,
one.
no problems. Perfect. Thanks for joining.
No problem. Bye bye.
Bye. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will wait for roughly 9 to 10 minutes. Allow everybody to tune in. In the meanwhile, please get yourself settled into it. Have a pen and a paper diary ready with you. I will encourage you to take as many notes as possible because I'll be sharing some of the really cool information and ideas with you that can really help you to evolve and embark on the next stage of your life. And in the meantime, I'll encourage you to share this on your social feeds if you can and just let people know about it, what you're up to today. It's a Sunday, but you all are here listening to this information. And that really gives me an idea how much importance you give to your own personal development. All right. So let the world around you know that as well. So we are going to start pretty soon. And once again, thank you so much for being here. We are really going to discuss today why life is not about luck and why it is about something powerful, what most people never ever grasp in their whole life. Thank you for being here, and we'll just wait for a few more minutes. Thank you, everybody. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your weekend and being a part of our weekly Mind Cappuccino book club calls. I'm really happy and grateful to bring these calls back to all of you. I know it has been on a pause from quite a few months from now, but today is the day when we resume these calls again, and we are bringing that information, that vibration, that energy back to you all once again, because I know how much this information has helped me in my life and how much it has been helping some of you who has been following this consistently. And we all know that whatever we persist, we become that. So welcome back, everybody. Before we get into today's topic, before we get into discuss what we have here today for you, I'm going to share some of the information or some of the ideas with you, like what you can expect from these book club calls from this point onwards, from this week onwards. Now, I have been contemplating a lot about this lately, thinking about what I can discuss with you all on a weekly basis that can make a big difference in every single one of your life, whoever is going to attend these calls. I've been thinking about a lot of different books, lately. I was thinking about, should I do, let's say, Think and Grow Rich book? Should I do something else? And then I stumbled upon one of my absolute favorite and classic book. And whenever I'm going through any phase in my life where I need inspiration or where I need a push, this is my go-to book. Now, some of you may already know it, some of you may not know it. But if you have been following me on social media for the last few weeks, you might have seen me sharing, some ideas from that book with you. Anybody want to make a guess which book I'm talking about? Because if you know me, you know the book that I'm talking about. The comment section is all open for you right there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can just simply comment in the comment section. Now, the book I'm talking about is one of the classic ever. And if anybody is looking to grow into their life, this is the book they should really, really, really get into. And the book is Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. Now, this book is filled with absolute, absolute great information. If you're someone who has never read this kind of material before, to you, this may seem like an philosophy that you may not be able to understand at the beginning. But trust me, trust my words. Once you start understanding the powers of your mind, once you start understanding the power of the information that Raymond Hollowell is talking about in his book, Working with the Law, and you just simply put your head down and you start applying these principles, your life is going to change dramatically. Now, if I have to tell you about myself, I have to go way back into 2014 and 15 when first time I started reading this information. I remember when I joined my first coaching program, when I started getting mentored by someone, I remember the words of Bob Proctor. He said that he literally just did exactly whatever he has been advised to do by his mentor. He carried a goal card. He kept reading his goal card. He kept reading Think and Grow Rich, and he kept taking action, and things started changing in his life. Why? Because he changed something deep within himself that was causing the results on the outside to change. And that book, Working with the Law, it's all about that. It is the best information that you can get anywhere in the world. And now, from this point onwards in the book club, our center of attraction of information is going to be working with the law. That means every single week, I'm going to bring a lesson from that book for you. I'm going to elaborate on the concepts in the chapters. I'm going to share my personal stories, my personal insights, how that chapter has been helpful for me. And at the end of the week, at the end of the call, I'm going to give you some practical ideas to apply into your life. Understand that. Bob Proctor said it something very precise. He said that, no amount of reading or memorizing will make the difference in your life. However, it is the understanding and the application of the wise ideas that count. You can read a book thousands times, but if you haven't changed 1% in yourself, it's not going to make a difference. On the other hand, you can read one paragraph 100 times. And if you allow that paragraph to become one with you, and if you allow just a simple learning from that paragraph to be in action in your life, you're going to see something absolutely incredible. Now, there's one thing that I know we all want in our life. It doesn't matter wherever you are. We all want progress. We all want to grow in our life. If you are building your body, you want to see progress in your body. You want to see have better muscles, strong muscles. If you're, doing a business, you want progress in your business. You want to see more income. You want to see more clients. You want to see more better quality of clients. If you're in a relationship, you want a progress in your relationship. If you are a student, you want progress in your career. You want better grades. You want better job. If you're an athlete, you want to improve your performance, right? If you have been, let's say, finishing 100-meter in whatever minutes, you want to grow. You want to finish the 100 meters in less than whatever you have been finishing before. Every single person wants progress in their life. However, the price we have to pay for the progress is change. There is nothing happen until we change. Change is the only constant in our life. And when it comes to the matter of making changes in our life, we have to make sacrifices. Now, that is one of the laws Raymond Holliwell talk about in Working with the Law, which we will be getting into deeper details in the coming weeks. But today, I want to give you a slightest idea. What does this mean? If you want to have progress in your life, you have to make changes. For example, you cannot have a better body without making changes to your mindset, without making changes to your diet, without making changes to your training. You cannot have progress in your business without making changes how you operate, without making changes in your processes, without making changes in your thinking. Every progress happens when a change happens. Think about it. Think about it. And a change requires a sacrifice. Now, most people, when they think about sacrifice, they think about, oh my God, it's bad. In fact, sacrifice is not bad. Sacrifice, if understood in a proper way, can change the whole dynamics of your life. In reality, sacrifice means letting go of something of a lower nature to gain something of a higher nature. For example, let's say I'm running a business, okay? Now, I'm running a business and I want to grow to the next level of income. Now, to grow to that next level of income, I have to sacrifice some of the stuff. For example, let's say in my business, I'm the one who is managing everything. Then I might have to sacrifice some of the things that I like doing. I might have to hire someone to do those things for me. Because if I have someone to do those things for me, then I will have more time to be more creative. And when I'm more creative, I can think about how to take my business from this level to the next level. Does that make sense? Now, for some people, it may seem like, oh, why should I do it? That's the price you have to pay. In order to grow in your life, there has to be a sacrifice in the process. You just cannot grow without making those minute changes. And it goes for everyone, irrespective of the goal they have, irrespective of wherever they are in their life. Progress requires change. And making these changes become easier when we understand the law. Because when we understand the law, then these changes doesn't look like changes. Then we know that these changes are the part of the process. Now, I love Rolf Waldo Emerson. He is one of my favorite author. And he said something really, really powerful about the laws. Now, he said that, let him learn a prudence of a higher strain. Now, I want you to write it down. If you're not writing it down, take a photo of it right now, okay? Take a photo of this right now. And later on, I want you to just do one favor for me today. Keep reading this quote from Rolf Waldo Emerson for next 7 days. Now, some of the things that we tell our clients to do are illogical. But you know what? It's the illogical things that create results far beyond whatever you think is possible for you. Now, let's get into what Rolf Waldo Emerson is saying here. He said that let him learn a prudence of a higher strain. Let him learn that everything in nature, even dust and feather, goes by law, not by luck. And that is the idea of our class today. That is the idea of our session today. Life isn't luck. It's a law. And when you understand these laws and when you apply these laws, life become absolute fantastic journey. I have seen people in my life, and in fact, I have seen my life grown exponentially over the last 10 years because I have been understanding and I've been consciously and deliberately putting my head down and applying these laws. Now, if you don't trust my words, go and research about Wernher von Braun. Now, Wernher von Braun has been considered as the father of the space program. You may think that, oh, Sukhbir is just trying to flatter us. Sukhbir is just trying to say some things to make us feel better. All right, don't trust me. Go and study about Wernher von Braun and see what he said about these natural laws of the universe. What he said absolutely makes a lot of sense to me. Now, he was featured in the movie Secret, and in the movie Secret, he said that the natural laws of the universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships. We can send people to the moon and you can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. And he said we are able to do all this because there are laws of the universe. Now, there are laws of the space and there are laws of the universe, right? And both these laws are so precise that we can actually do things with absolute precision. However, there is a problem. And he added that our problem is we know there are laws. Somehow we believe also there are laws, but the scientists are using those laws and going to the moon. However, we do not bring these laws into our life. We don't understand that thought is an energy. We don't understand that these laws can actually help us to achieve anything and everything that we want to achieve. Only if we learn how to control our thinking. Now, how can you control your thinking? I think we cannot control our thinking. However, we can channelize our thinking. We can start thinking in a certain way. Now, that's what Wallace D. Wattles wrote about, in his book, The Science of Getting Rich. There are a couple of chapters in that book that says that thinking in a certain way, acting in a certain way, how we act in a certain way when we think in a certain way. What does this mean by thinking in a certain way? That means coming from a positive standpoint, coming from a goal-oriented standpoint instead of coming from an obstacle standpoint. Now, later in today's call, you will see exactly what do I mean by it. But Wernher von Braun was absolutely correct here. We know there are laws and we are ignorant of the laws. We don't apply those laws. We just literally know they are there, but we don't do anything about it. Now, Napoleon Hill just expanded this in his book again. He said that in your search for the secret of the method, do not look for the miracle because you will not find it. Now, sometimes I see people in my life, who are waiting for miracles. They're just waiting for something to happen. They're just waiting for, opportunities to fall into place. However, they don't understand that there are not going to be any secrets at all. There are not going to be any miracles at all. If there is anything and everything that happens in your life, it happens when you get in tuned with the laws, because you will find only the eternal laws of the nature. And once you understand those laws, you have to learn how to integrate yourself with those laws. These laws are available to every person who has the faith and the courage to use them. So do not look for miracles. There are not miracles. If there is anything, there are eternal laws of nature. And all you need is faith and courage to use them. Now, how do you develop faith? You develop faith with persistent action. Think about a little child. When he start walking, he stumble many times. He cry, he bleeds. Does he ever lose faith? Never. You know why? Because he don't even know what does that mean. He's an unconscious competent at that time. His mind is wide open. But when the same child who was never afraid of falling when he was a kid becomes an adult, and when then he makes a mistake at that time, what is the first thing he do? He starts doubting himself. He starts questioning himself. He starts disbelieving himself. You know why? Because then he has been programmed by the universe. Then he has been programmed by the society. Then he has been programmed by the environment to think in that way. Just think about it, how easy your life would become if you just start behaving like a child again. You make mistake, you don't care. Now, I don't mean to say that you don't make mistakes and you don't care. That means you keep making the mistakes. You make a mistake, however, you keep an attitude that, okay, I'm going to improve upon it. You need to have that the childish imagination, the childish determination in your life. It's just the age number that keeps on increasing, but the inner child has to stay within you, because that inner child is in tune with the laws. That inner child is never ever afraid of anything. Why we become afraid? The answer is conditioning. The answer is our environment. The answer is our paradigms. How can we overcome these? By understanding the law, by understanding the mind, by understanding how to really become the best version of ourselves. Now, pay very close attention to, this paragraph here, because this paragraph here literally includes the secret. This paragraph here literally, have information that can blow your mind away. Now, obviously, this is from the Raymond Hollowell, working with the law. And he said that all failures in our life are due to taking the side with the finite around us. However, all success in life is due to taking the side with the laws within us. Now, let me elaborate this a little bit more for you. When people start thinking about what's happening in the economy, when they start thinking about what's happening in the world outside them, when they start thinking about what other might think about them, when they start thinking about what their friends are doing, that's when they're taking the side of the finite. And if you are letting the environment, if you are letting your friends, your family, your economy, your country to control your thinking, there are going to be a lot of failures, my dear friends. You're going to be trapped into the way of their thinking. Now, the moment you step out of their thinking, they are going to doubt you. They're going to say, are you out of your mind? But this is where the success takes place. You have to be willing and able to hold on to your thinking. You have to be willing and able to hold on to what you think is the possibility that is by taking the sides of the law within you. And you have to be you. Bill Gove said something really powerful. He said that if I want to be free, I have to be me. If I want to be free, I have to be me. Not the me my family think I should be, not the me my friends think I should be, not the me my society think I should be. If I want to be free, I have to be me. And I know who the real me is. You know who the real you are. You know what is your purpose. You know what is your passion. You know what you're meant for doing. And you need to discover it. How do you discover it? You discover it by trying different things. Now, 2014, when I did my graduation, I was a absolutely lost boy. I had no clue what I wanted to do in my life. All I know that I wanted to just do something that will really makes me feel happy. What did I did then? I tried different jobs. I try a job, I quit a job, I try a job, I quit a job. And then I started working on my self-development. Then I started working on my personal development. Then I started working on my mindset. And when I started working on my mindset, I started seeing results in my life. I started seeing things happening, things changing in my life. And then I decided if there is anything that I would love to do for the rest of my life, it will be sharing this information. And, they said to become a great teacher, you have to be a great student. I love studying this information. It has been more than 10 years now, and I have been studying this for 1 decade. 1 decade. It's a long, long time to study anything. And I'm still doing it because I remember what I know is finite and what I don't know is infinite. And if I want to keep growing in my life, I have to keep expanding my consciousness. If I want to keep growing in my life, I have to keep grabbing this information and keep getting better and better and better and better and better, right? When you read a book for the second time, you don't find something new in the book that wasn't there before. When you read a book for the second time, you find something in yourself that wasn't there before. That's why repetition is important. That's why you have to go within yourself and really understand who you are. Really, really deeply understand who you are. Raymond Holliwell said that there is a marvelous inner world within us that enables us to attain and achieve anything we desire within the bounds and the limits of the nature. And all you have to do in your life is keep tapping into that inner world. Keep tapping into that marvelous inner world. It's all there. And the more you tap into the inner world, you're going to see your results, your understanding. Everything in your life is going to expand. Everything in your life is going to expand. Now, before we actually study the laws that Raymond Holliwell talks about, we're going to talk about some of the basic laws. And these basic laws are really, really powerful. They go beyond whatever you think they are. Now, when I started reading the laws, I understood that every law has something common in it. And those were these 7 basic laws that I'm going to share with you right now. And if you understood these 7 basic laws, I can tell you, you might have been already, practicing some of these laws, or you might have not been practicing some of these laws, or you might have been practicing in the wrong way. However, we can always correct ourselves in our life. However, there's always a point in our life when we can say that now is my time. I'm going to change it. And that's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to understand that. Now, let's get into the first law here. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Now, this is the foundation, absolute foundation of anything and everything that we do in our life. Perpetual transmutation of energy. Now, this law states that energy moves into a physical form. What does this mean, that energy moves into a physical form? Look at yourself. Before you made your debut on this planet, you was just an energy, a drop of an energy. And from that drop of an energy, you take this physical form. And it took 9 months for you to make your appearance on this planet Earth. Everything around you is an energy. The laptop, the mobile on which you're watching this broadcast right now, before it became a laptop or a mobile, it was an energy. It was an idea in someone's mind. And that energy was moved into one form to into another. Science says that. It says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can be transformed from one form to another. So the image that you hold in your mind most often materialize into the results in your life. Now think about it. Whenever you think about your goal, whenever you think about expanding, whenever you think about getting bigger or getting great results, what is that image? For example, let's say you're trying to build your physique. Okay. What is that inner image that you have in your mind? Now, you might be having great diet. You might be, following a workout plan. But what is that inner talking? Is that inner talking still telling you, oh, no, I'm not that good at it. It takes me a lot of time to grow muscles and all that stuff. Now, let's take another example. Let's say you're in a business. You want to hit your $1 million. And you're thinking about, yeah, I want to hit $1 million, but the economy is bad. I don't have the right support system. I don't have the right friends. I don't have the right team. So you see, all that inner conversation that is happening at a deep emotional level are the real images we are holding about ourselves into our mind. And if we want to change the physical result, if we want to change the outcome of our life, we have to change the image we are holding in the mind. Now, it sounds simple, and it is absolutely simple, but it is very tough to do. Why it is tough to do? Because most people treat it that way. Most people think that changing the image in the mind is very difficult. However, it is not. All you have to do is write your goal on a goal card, carry that goal card with you every single day, and read it throughout the day multiple times. And when you read it, just consciously rewire your brain, consciously tell yourself, for example, next time you find yourself saying that, I want to achieve this, but I cannot, whatever that I cannot is, just literally paraphrase it. You know, when I started working on my mindset in the beginning, I had a very horrible paradigm when it comes to money. You know, when I need to buy something, I always used to say that, oh, that's too expensive. Oh my God, I can't buy that. And I shared that with my mentor. I said, that's what I'm thinking. He said, why don't you paraphrase it? I said, how can I paraphrase it? He said, instead of saying that it's too expensive, tell yourself, wow, I love this. I'm going to find a way to buy it. I'm going to find the money to buy it. I have the money to buy it. I know I'm going to attract it to buy it. You see, it's just a small little shift in your wordings that makes a big difference. Now let's take a few another examples. Let's say you're an athlete and you want to beat the best athlete in the world. And your internal dialogue can be, I'm a good athlete. Oh, but he is strong. I can't beat him. Or you can paraphrase it. You can say that he might be the best athlete in the world, but I know I have everything that is required to beat them. Wow. Such a powerful transformation here. You see, it all begins with an idea in the mind. It all begins with an idea in the mind. And once that idea in the mind flourishes, once the idea in the mind take control of who you are, everything changes. Understand that everything in your mind, the images that you hold in your mind, are more powerful than whatever anybody else is telling you. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, there was a time when, Australia used to be a powerful cricket team and everyone was so scared of them. But then come a time when India overtook them. How? Because we stopped paying attention to how powerful team they are. We stopped paying attention to whether they have great players or not. We started saying that we have world-class players. We started saying that we can beat anybody. You see, the dialogues that goes on in our head makes a big difference. And that's what the law of perpetual transmutation of energy is. That is the first law of universe. Everything around you is a different form of energy. The trees that you see in your houses or around your houses right now, they were not trees before. Before they were just a little seed. And that seed was planted into the earth. And out of that becomes the tree. The clothes that you're wearing right now wasn't the clothes before. It was something else. You see, everything around you is a different form of energy. Now, let me explain it to you in a better way. Now, the thought waves are cosmic waves. They penetrate through the universe in all the space and all the time, anytime. All right. Now, let these clouds represent your spiritual thoughts. Now, what I'm going to explain to you right now, right here, is actually a practical demonstration of how we convert our thoughts into things. That means how we convert, everything that goes on mentally onto a physical world. Okay. Now, the thoughts are spiritual waves. They're around you everywhere. Doesn't matter wherever you are. And then we have our intellect. What is our intellect? Intellect is our mind. It is our marvelous mind. We have our mental faculties, imagination, intuition, perception, will, reasoning. And using our intellectual faculties, we tapped into this thought world. And we tap into these thought worlds, we combine these thoughts together, and we form an idea. Their idea could be anything. For example, an idea to improve your physique, an idea to grow your business, an idea to get into a better relationship, an idea to become a better athlete, whatever it is. How you're building that idea? You're building that idea by the constructive use of your mind. Because if you're not using your mind constructively, you can end up building a destructive idea. So you see, the law of perpetual transformation of energy doesn't care what idea you're building. It just manifests whatever ideas you're building. And then when these ideas are, you get impressed to the subconscious mind, or in other words, when you get emotionally involved with these ideas, that's what create the results on the physical world. So you see, spiritual, intellectual, and physical, these are the three levels of understanding, or these are the three planes of understanding on which we are living. Thought waves are spiritual. Intellectually, we have the mind, and using our mind, we're building those ideas. And by executing their ideas, by practically implementing those ideas, we're getting the results. And your mind is immoral. Your subconscious mind is immoral. It doesn't care whatever you plan. Whatever you plan is going to give it back it to you. Andrew Carnegie said something really, really powerful. He said that any idea that is emphasized, is either feared or revered, will clothe itself into the most appropriate form ever available. That means any idea that you plant into your subconscious mind, you get emotionally involved with it. Either you are in love with that idea or you're scared of that idea, that is going to manifest into your physical world. So you see the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, that makes a huge difference. It's everywhere. If I have to give you another example, let these lines represent the level of frequencies. We are a spiritual being. That means the spirit is equally 100% present everywhere at all the time. Your spirit is 100% present everywhere. Physically, you may be in one country. Spiritually, you're everywhere. Your spirit does not require, understand boundaries. Your spirit is everywhere. That is a reason why sometimes, you're thinking about a friend you have never met in years before, and all of a sudden they call you. How did they get that idea? Because your spiritual energy was there. It was influencing their mind. And that happens with all of you on time to time. So you see, the spirit is 100% present everywhere at all the time. Now, let this represent a glass of water. Now, what happens when you start boiling the water? This water changes into the steam. So you see, same energy now changed into a different form. What if you keep boiling the water? If you keep boiling the water, there will be no steam anymore. That will be converted into an ether or a gas. And then it all disappears. So you see, the example of the water literally explains to us that the water, the steam, the gas, everything was already present there. But it was a matter of the frequency on which it was. It was a matter of the frequency on which it was. And that happens with you. Your goal, your dreams, your aspirations, whatever you want, they're already out there on a different frequency. All you have to do is understand the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, get into that idea, get into that level of frequency, and then manifest that into your physical reality. So you see, that's the model of our mind. There is an energy that is flowing to and through you all the time. All the time. That energy is flowing equally through your mind, equally through your friend's mind, equally through everyone's mind. Doesn't matter whoever they are, doesn't matter wherever they are, doesn't matter whatever they're doing. The energy is equally available for every single one of us. That's a spiritual energy. Now, what happens is that we have an intellect. That means we have those faculties of the mind that I was talking about. Intuition, imagination, reason, memory, will, it's all there. By using their intellectual faculties, we can build thoughts into our conscious mind. Now, this is going to give you more practical demonstration on what we just discussed in the previous slide. Now, when you have these thoughts in your conscious mind, when you keep thinking about these thoughts again and again, ideas, repetition, what happens is that you're planting these ideas to your subconscious mind. And whatever you plant into your subconscious mind understand the feeling. For example, if you're pressing these thoughts with a feeling of fear, that's what subconscious mind is going to pick up. But if you're planting these thoughts with the emotions of faith, that's what your subconscious mind is going to pick up. And your subconscious mind doesn't care whatever it is. It just moves your body into that vibration. For example, if there are thoughts of fear, you're going to feel that emotions on the subconscious level, and your body will not take any action because you are in a fearful vibration. However, if you're thinking about that, I want to achieve this, and you're thinking about that, I know I can do it. If you're thinking about I have the power, I have the potential, everything, you're impressing positive, deep emotions. And these positive, deep emotions are going to impress themselves onto the subconscious mind, which is going to trigger positive vibration. Those trigger positive vibrations are going to trigger positive brain cells in your brain. In other words, are going to trigger the brain cells that are related to that positive vibrations. Irrespective of positive or negative, it is going to move you on a physical action, on a physical plane, which creates the results. That's what the law of perpetual transmutation of energy is all about. Now, I wanted to really spend some time on explaining this law to you because this is the foundation, this is the fundamental principle. You will not do anything of any kind until or unless you have formed an image about it in your mind, even good or bad. You will not start working on your fitness until or unless you formed an image about it on your mind. Now, either you build that image, or that image has been built by the society, or that image has been built by someone who has some influence over you. For example, sometimes we start doing things in our life just because somebody has said something to us and we really value their opinion. We really value them because for us, they seem like a person of authority. And then we start taking action on those things. Why? Because they have influenced that and built an idea into your mind. Is it good or bad? I don't know. You have to decide it for yourself. Because it's your life. I can tell you what's happening right there in your mind, but then it's you who has to decide whether you want that to continue or you want that to change. That's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Now, the second law is the law of relativity. Now, this is a really, really great law. I absolutely love it, to be honest. I absolutely love it. Now, the law of relativity says that nothing is good or bad, nothing is big or small until we relate it to something. Now, there are two ways to apply the law of relativity. Now, let's have a look at this demonstration. All right. Let's do it this way. Let's say there's B and C. Now, if you look in B and C, obviously the C will seem superior than B here. Now, let's pick something another. Let's bring A here now. Now, forget about B for a minute. Just pay attention to A and C. Now, if you look at A and C, obviously A is going to seem smaller, C is going to seem bigger. However, if you remove the C from the equation and you just keep B and A, then B will seem smaller and A will seem bigger. So you see what's the difference here? The difference here is that neither A, neither B, nor C, none of them are big or small. They only become big or small when we compare them with something. And that's the law of relativity. You're not good or bad. No one is perfect until or unless they start comparing themselves with somebody else. And why we compare ourselves? Because that paradigm of comparison has been planted into our mind from childhood. I don't know about, which part of the world you are, but from the part of the world from where I belong, when I was a little kid in school, however, I was lucky enough, my parents never did it, but there are some parents who do it. You got your final results and your parents start comparing you. They start saying that, oh, look at that uncle's son. He got better marks than you. Does that make a difference if he get better marks than me? Absolutely not. And that comparison doesn't stop there. You go from school to the college, and then in the college, you are compared based upon which subjects you have taken. And then you go to your job, and by the time that idea of comparison has been so deeply engraved into your head that you start doing it by yourself. You start looking at other people's physique and you start saying that, oh, they're looking so good, I'm not. You start looking at other people's job and you start saying, oh, they're doing a better job. Why I didn't have it? Does that makes a difference? If you go by the real world opinion, that may makes a difference. But if you go by the laws, that never makes a difference. You have to understand that law of relativity is the foundation of anything and everything that you do in your life. And if you really want to grow bigger, if you really want to, get better, you have to get out of the trap of comparison. You cannot just stay in that trap. You cannot just stay, in that environment. You cannot. You cannot. Stop comparing yourself. Stop saying that someone is better than me. They're not your competition. You are your competition. Look at it in the mirror every single day and ask yourself, am I doing 1% better than I did yesterday? Am I doing 1% better than I did yesterday? If the answer is yes, here we go. You're on the right track. And you just have to keep pushing yourself. Law of relativity. And that leads me to the third law of vibration. Now, people talk about law of attraction. People talk about many things. You know what? Law of vibration is the foundation of all the laws. Now, everything vibrates, nothing rests. The table, the laptop, whatever you're seeing in front of you right now, if you look at that with a microscopic camera or a microscopic lens, you will find out the waves of energy constantly in motion. You cannot see them with your naked eyes, but if you see them with the scientific equipments, you'll see it. Even in your hands, the body seems stationary, but it is not. It is vibrating at a very rapid speed. Everything vibrates. And the conscious awareness of the vibration is called as feeling. And your thoughts control your paradigms and your vibration. Think about it. Think about it. Let me give you a very good example right now. I want you to close your eyes for a minute and then start thinking about one of the best moments of your life. Close your eyes and start thinking about one of the best moments of your life. And if you just keep thinking about it, one of the best moments of your life, you know what's going to happen? You will feel goosebumps right now. You will feel so good about yourself. And if you keep visualizing it, you're going to reach a point where everything is going to seem real to you, where everything is going to feel like so natural to you. Now, my question to you that was that situation already happening in your life right now? The answer is no. That situation was not happening in your life right now. However, it was happening in your mind. You see how your thought controls your vibration? Now think about it. Think about it. How consciously this can make a big difference in your life when you start using consciously the law of vibration. You consciously use the law of vibration. You consciously use it for your purpose. You consciously use it to get better results. You consciously use it. Law of vibration. Everything vibrates. When you think about good things, when you're not feeling good, become aware of your thinking and then think about something pleasant. That is the secret. People who are highly successful, that doesn't mean they don't feel bad. They do feel bad. But the next law that I'm going to teach you right now is going to show you how they switch it up everything so quickly. And the next law is the law of polarity. Understand that everything has an opposite. Absolutely everything has an opposite. Hot and cold, up and down, good and bad, everything. Now, if you want to get better results, if you really, really want to smash into your life, if you really want to kill it, the game of life, constantly look for good in the people and situations around you. Think about it. Even if you see something bad about it, why you want to pay attention to that? If I see something bad around me and if I pay attention to that, what I'm doing is I'm letting that bad to be in our minds, in my mind. And when that bad is in my mind, it is going to influence everything in my body. It is going to influence how I feel. It is going to influence how I think. Ultimately, it is going to influence how I act. Law of polarity. However, I know there is something good in that situation too, but I have to look for it. Because we lived in a society where we have been programmed to catch the bad like this. However, it takes a really deep thinking to find what's good in that situation. So constantly look for that. And when you find it, for example, let's say you're talking to a colleague, right? If you really like something about them, tell them. Tell them, yeah. If they're looking good today, tell them, oh, you're looking really good today. Oh, you're really carrying a positive attitude today. People love compliments. Think about if I meet you on the street or wherever in the world you are, I shake hand with you and I tell you, oh my God, you're really good. You're really positive vibe. You're looking good. Now, I'm not just faking it, all right? I'm really catching something good about the person I'm telling it. How will you feel? You will feel good. You will feel empowered. And you know what? You may just continue that and you may speak to someone else with a positive vibration. That's a chain reaction. Think about it, how your mind will think when you give compliments to your mind. Because we are here talking about our mind. We are here talking about the laws. We are here talking about, the constructive ideas, the constructive thoughts. So remember that good ideas mean good vibrations. There can only be two sides, positive, negative. And at one time, there can only be one idea that can be in your mind. It can be positive or it can be negative, but it's up to you what you want to hold. And that takes me to the next law, the law of rhythm. I was talking about that. Even the best people in the world sometimes feel bad. Even the best people in the world sometimes feel demotivated. But consciously or unconsciously, they know the law of rhythm. Now, what is the law of rhythm? Now, the law of rhythm says that the tides goes out, the night follows the day, the good time, the bad time, the bad time, the good time. That means everything is in a rhythm. It's in a rhythm. When you are on a downswing or feel bad, understand that the times will change. Understand that the things will get better. Understand that the good things are coming. Think about them. Think about it. The law of rhythm. So understand that in our life, all we have to do is have to really apply the law of rhythm to every single situation in our life. For example, if you're someone who has a habit of, staying in the positive vibration and then getting back to the negative vibration and then getting back to the positive vibration and then getting back into the negative vibration and then getting back into the positive vibration, understand that your job in life is to minimize how long you stay in a negative vibration. And if you understand the law of rhythm, you know that by law, you're going to get back to the positive vibration. Nobody can stay unhappy for the rest of their life until or unless they choose it to be that way. But something somewhere is going to happen that is going to bring them back to the positive vibration. And you have to understand that if you're someone who is short-tempered, you can really work on it. If you're someone who really do not sustain happiness for a longer time, you can work on it by understanding that the law of polarity, there can be good or bad. And the only thing that can happen in your life is the one that you pay attention to and the one that you hold in your head. And by the law of rhythm, you can understand that you can really control for how long you stay there. So that means you can minimize the negative outswing. And over the years, you're going to get better at it, my dear friend. When I was a young kid, I was a very brutal guy. I used to get mad at people. I used to throw chairs in my house. I was really, really angry young man when I was a little kid. And if you meet me now, and if you just go and speak to people who I work with, and they're going to tell you that I'm one of the most relaxed man ever. They're going to tell you that I'm the most chilled person ever. I don't bother much about things now. How did I change it from being an angry young man to someone who don't even bother getting into anger vibration anymore now? Does that happen overnight? No, it doesn't. 2016, 17, when I came across this book, when I came across these laws, I understood that all I have to do is I have to work on the negative swing. I have to work on to minimizing the time. That means if I get angry, how quickly I can bring it back. And the more I practice is, the more I get better. And that's the law. And it is applicable to anything in your life. For example, let's say you're productive for 2 days and then you're non-productive for 5 days. How can you decrease that non-productive for 5 days to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, to 1 hour? That's your consistent results that you have to focus on. You see, I really love the idea of getting 1% better every single day. Because when you think about getting 1% of better every single day, you're not thinking about 100%, and there is no boundary or there is no end bar to that. You can get better every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day. Never happens in most people's cases. You know why? Because they try to do too much and they end up doing too less. But you can do better things if you focus on getting 1% better. If you're short tempered, think about how you can change it. If you're someone who is non-productive, think about how I can be productive just a little bit today, and then a little bit tomorrow, then a little bit day after tomorrow, and then another day, then another day. When you keep doing it over the years, days, months, weeks, you know what? In 1 year time, you are going to look at yourself into the mirror and you're going to find yourself an absolutely incredible changed person. Law of rhythm. It is an absolutely beautiful concept. Now, moving forward, we have the law of cause and effect. Understand that everything, I mean, everything, whatever you send into the universe comes back. Reaction, equal and opposite. Now, you know, that does not mean that if you have done something, you will get back the same thing. Universe has its own ways to bring things back into your life. You know, if you have done something bad to you, bad to someone, it is going to come back to you. How it will come back, when it will come back, how bad or good it will be, nobody can guess. Nobody can guess. So that's why I always tell people, be nice to other people, be gentle to them. You know, now when I say nice and gentle to other people, it does not mean sugarcoat them. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If there is something that you know is wrong about them, if you want to tell it to them, tell it to them. Tell it to them. Because when you're telling them something, you're doing good to them. It may seem like harsh word at that time, but it may be good. And do the same thing for you as well. So understand that everything has an equal and opposite reaction. So say good thing, but at the same time, treat everyone with respect. And it comes back. Treat your work with respect. And it comes back. Never worry about what you're going to get. Just concentrate on what you can give. Now, this is where most people get stuck. You know, when they start their business, all they do is they start thinking about it, what I can get out of it, what I can get out of it, what I can get out of it. How can I get more money? Forget about it for now. Start thinking about how you can serve people. I remember one of the best advice that I received from my mentor was that every single day, think about helping someone who you know can never, ever reciprocate you back. What happened when I do that? When I help someone who I know that can never, ever reciprocate back to me, I know my rewards are come from the universe. Now, I'm not doing this for the sake of doing it. I'm really genuinely doing it from the bottom of my heart. Because I know that my results, they are going to come back to me. How, when, from where, I don't care. I know they will. I don't know they will. It's a law, an absolute law. Cause and effect. It's right there. It's right there. And that really leads to a perfect law, the law of gender. Now, the law of gender says that every seed has a gestation or incubation period. Ideas are spiritual seeds and they will move into physical results. Your goal will manifest when the time is right, and no, they will. You know, many people, they start thinking about their goals, and the first thing they think about after thinking about their goals is when I'm going to achieve it. That's not your job. Absolutely not your job. Think about your goal and then think about what you can do. For example, if my goal is to reach a certain amount of income in my business. I know I will reach it. But to reach that, I have to think about how I can serve more people. I have to think about how I can provide more value. I have to think about how I can create more great content that helps people. And as long as I focus on creating value, as long as I focus on, helping people around me, as long as I focus on really, really integrating these ideas, I know I'm going to get to my results. That's what happened when I started my business way back in 2017. I didn't care about what I'm getting out of it. The only thing that I cared about is what I'm putting out there in the universe. When you plant a carrot seed, you know that if you nourish the carrot seed, if you water the carrot seed, if you do exactly whatever is required for the carrot seed, the only result out of it is a carrot fruit, a carrot, right? Apply the same thing to your goals. Apply the same thing to your mind. When you plant an idea into your mind, all you have to do is take care of that idea. Do everything that you can do. Nourish that idea. It requires effort. It requires patience. It requires keeping the positive mindset. When you do it, oh man, result happens. And this reminds me about Napoleon Hill. My gosh, he said that when riches begin to come, they come so fast and furious that you keep wondering where there was hiding all those lean years. So true. When results start coming, they come so fast and furious that you keep wondering where they was hiding all those lean years. But they will only come when you take action, when they only come when you have a right mindset. They only come when you keep nourishing that power. Now, law of thinking, this is something we'll be getting deep into, later in the book club as well. But today I'm just going to give you an idea. Most people, do not understand that law. Do not understand that law. As a man thinking in his heart, so he is or she is. But most people never know what does it mean. Most people do their thinking from outside in. Now, this is your mind, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the brain right there. Most people, now we all have these sensory factors and we all have results in our life. What most people do is they look at their results and they see how bad they are. They see, for example, someone is looking at their physique and they're not having the right results. They will think that, oh, my physique is bad. I'm not getting the results. And if they're looking at their business, they are not earning the income. They will look at the results and they will say, oh, my business is not generating income. And what they do is they just impress that back into their in the conscious mind. Now, when you're doing this, you're absolutely destroying the creative process here. You're looking at your results and you're feeling bad about your results. You're not happy about your results. And even to make things worse, you're bringing those results back into your conscious mind. Think about it. When you're thinking about why you're not making money, when you're thinking about why your physique is not growing, when you're thinking about why you're not getting clients, what are the feelings you will generate at the subconscious level? Negative feelings. And these negative feelings are going to move you into what? Negative vibration. And these negative vibration are going to cause what? The same results. The same old results. And that we call as the doom fulfilling cycle. People are stuck right there. People are stuck right there in this doom fulfilling cycle. However, what they need to do is they need to reverse it. They need to think differently. Instead of looking at your results, you have to use your intellectual faculties, imagination. Think about what do you want? Not the results that you have right now, but the results you want right now. And then impress those results back into your conscious mind. Now, when you're thinking about the results that you want in your life, what kind of thoughts it is going to originate? It is going to originate thoughts of positivity, optimism, constructive. And when you keep impressing these thoughts over and over and over again to your subconscious mind, what kind of feelings you think it will generate? Constructive one. And then what kind of vibration it will move your body into? A positive one, an uplifting one. What kind of actions you will be taking at that time? Constructive ones that you know you have to do. And what kind of results you will be getting at that time? The results that matters the most. And that's where we get back to the Albert Einstein. Everything is energy. And that's all there is to. match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. But these words are coming from someone who has been considered as an absolute genius. Everything is energy, my dear friend. Everything is. Whatever you want to get into your life, you have to match that energy. You have to use your mind the way it should be used. You have to really get tuned into these ideas. And you have to really apply these basic laws that I've just shared with you today. Now, next week, we'll be getting into the first law from the book, Raymond Holliwell's book. I'll be getting really deep into that idea next week. But for today, I really want you to immerse yourself into these laws. Now, this recording is going to be on YouTube. It will be on our YouTube channel. It has been live streamed, so it'll be there. I may post a, concise version or whatever we call it later on. But I want you to really, really think about the laws we have discussed today. If there is any one law that I really, really want you to understand and really keep in your life for the rest of your life is the law of rhythm. Understand that everything that goes out of rhythm comes back into rhythm. And your job is to reduce and minimize the time over the years, over the weeks, and over the months. Once you do it, you're the king, you're the champion. You're the champion. So, my dear friends, let's really, really rock it up. Now, I would love to hear from you in the group. I know you have been on this call throughout the 1 hour. Once we finish this call today, I want you to go back to the group. Let other people know about what did you learn today. What is something that really, really sparked the attention in you? What is something that really ignited that fire back within you again? That yes, I am going to really kill at my life now. Share your feedback. Share this on social media. Let's invite more people. Let's have more people here. People who have to listen to this information. Even if they don't want to, they have to listen to this information. I'm telling you, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, people will realize that how powerful this information is. People will realize that why this is really, really, really important. So, on that note, I want to say thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence, I really appreciate here. I really appreciate you all guys being here, taking time out of your Sunday. Now, we're going to do a lot of great stuff in our book club. Apart from these weekly Sunday free calls that I do, I'm going to introduce some, exclusive features for the paid members pretty soon. You keep an eye on the group. All that information is going to be in the group. Now, the paid membership will definitely have more exclusive content, the deep reading from the book, some more tools and tips and more suggestions. And if any one of you is interested in really taking this personal development journey to the next level, and you want some sort of mentoring or coaching or guidance anywhere, anything, you're more than happy to drop me a message, and I'll be more than happy to speak to you and provide you more information about that. So once again, thank you so much for being here on this Sunday. And I'm looking forward to see you on next week. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.